Hi guys, how's it going? Today's video is a little different style when compared to my other ones I make. I made this person into a plushie, or like a gaming one. No, it's another art one. I made Pokemon into plushies, but we're doing more Pokemon stuff and a lot of other stuff today. So if you're wondering what we're doing today, I'm showing off my 31 days of Ink and Moxtober. Now if you're wondering what Ink or Moxtober are, they're art challenges made by groups of artists, or in this case, a YouTuber, who have a list of prompts corresponding to each day in the month. For example, day 4 of Inktober was Dodge, so I would make a piece of art that has part of the prompt Dodge in it. Now that you understand how the premise works, I'll show you Inktober's schedule, or list, and Moxtober's schedule. Now without further ado, let's get into Inktober. We started off with day 1, which I believe was Dreams, and the only day I used color. I just drew a person in a bed with like a big globe around them, and I thought it was really cool. Which then moves us on to day 2, which, that is not day 2, that is day 4. We had the pages of it, which was a spider. I believe this is I started using ink and using ink shading for the entire rest of the challenge, and it was really fun. But after that, it went on to more of stuff like day 3. Which was Path, and one of the days I struggled on a bit because I didn't know really what to draw that day. I was like, a path? What? And this is really I'm going to put a premise here that I'm not going to talk much over these, and this is going to be pretty fast because already it's going to be like a 20-minute video. I'm not going to have that. But we moved on to day 4 after that. And day 4 was really fun. And our first Pokemon drawing of the entire thing, which is a lie because Moxtober is full of Pokemon drawings. But with this one, it was a Pikachu striking a Poliwhirl with a lightning bolt and him dodging it, barely missing. We have the little cute Pikachu, Poliwhirl, and all of it was great. And then we moved on to day 5, which was, I'm gonna have to explain a lot of it. So it was map, but technically I made whatever this was called. Oh, I also had to pick up a little bit of food that was on there. I was probably drawing during lunch. But I made a map of a character's like building, or like blueprint maker. So I decided that drawing it was technically correct because a map of a building is a blueprint. But I don't know, didn't think about it much until like the end of it. But I think we're gonna move on to day 6, which was us having like heaven, or it was like heaven. It was heaven or hell. It was one of the two. It was golden. I made Golden Gates. That's what it was. It was Golden Gates. That's what I was making. Which has us moving on to like our second, I think, only other Pokemon drawing in the entirety of Inktober, which was Drip. So I made Driplin in the, let's say the Yu-Gi-Oh pose, or the Supreme jacket. But it was Driplin. Moving on the next day, it was to Toad, which the character here is Toad from Frog and Toad. And if you haven't read that children's book, I suggest you read it because it's a really sweet children's book, and they're really good reads overall. And I love the characters in it so much. I made him holding cookies because there's an entire story about like temptation and cookies. But after that drawing, I drew more frogs. Whoa, it's crazy. But these frogs, we had one jumping, one standing, one hopping, all on balls because it was bounce. Day 8 was bounce. Moving on to the next day, we had, I think, treasure, or glittery, or gems. One of the few. I dropped the sketch pad, but I put dragon, which I didn't shade that much in the background. I do a better dragon later on, but it was just hoarding its treasures, waiting for someone to come and take them. Before moving on to day whatever at this point, I couldn't keep track. But it was wander, so I just drew a character just wandering through some woods, going down some paths, having a good old time. Followed by me, of course, flipping the page and showing you a bit sneak peek of that day, which I mean Spicy, which is, I really didn't know what to draw for Spicy. I could have drawn like a fire pepper or just Scovillain, but I drew a pepper. It wasn't the best, it wasn't the worst. Following that though, we had one of my favorite drawings of the entire thing, which was Rise. I basically made a really edgy, like, skeletons rising from the dirt as this person just summons his evildoers to do his bidding. Or not evildoers, just minions to do his bidding. I really liked that one. After that was Castle, and I drew this average looking castle. You got your 2 towers, you got your walls, I tried to add some depth, some texture, some little podiums on this big rock. And I don't think structurally this would be a safe castle, but it was okay. And you'd probably in this castle find this dagger, which is magnificently crafted out of elven woods and goblin blade. I made that up on the spot. After this, we had why I said heaven and hell earlier on, because we had an angel and demon. So it had a more biblically-ish accurate angel, which is a bunch of eyes, just a bunch of symbols around its things, wings and all. I struggled to draw toes, but no one knows how to draw toes, so I'm not that mad about it. But after that one, it was demon, which I'm not proud of how I left this off. Even though it's the 1st of November, I'm just going to say, let's just grab this pen right here. Any moment now. Let's grab this pen. And let's just do a little bit of scribbling here, and maybe there, and maybe a bit over here, possibly over there, a little bit over here, and a little more over there, and now we're done. This is the more desired result I wanted from the piece, which is more just the inner demons coming and taking you over. But after that demon one, which I didn't get to finish in it, we have horse. I didn't expect to see horse, but we had a horse. So I had a rat driving a horse, or riding a horse, controlling a horse. I don't know. He had a sword, he had a hat. It was a cowboy rat. It was having a good old, wonderful, jolly time. And then we had a big old plump penguin. And he's adorable, he's cute, he's splendiferous, and all the good adjectives. Before moving on to day whatever, I think it was about 20 at this point, because I'm just making an educated guess, which was frost. You can just check it back in the index. I'll have it on the screen, but I'm recording the voiceover before I put the day. I just had a sword person throwing ice on a lake, making a pathway. After that, we had chains, so I put a dragon trapped in the chains of prison. It's prison. I could have made it bigger. It felt really empty, this piece. We moved on to day 22, where I had a cat. He was just a silly little cat, honestly. He didn't have much to him. He was just a silly cat, and I liked him a lot. He was scratching his log, and then we moved on to day 23, which was my birthday, and I definitely slacked on this piece on my birthday. I tried to do like a celestial cape being. It didn't work that well. I may redo that one later. Day 24, I think, was puddle or wet. So I had like a shoe stepping into a puddle, splashing it all up. I had a fun time drawing the shoes. It was a fun one. After that, we moved on to day 25, which was, I think, broken. It was definitely broken, or dangerous. So, because I make glass shards, and glass shards are very dangerous, and mirrors are made of glass. I'm pretty sure. Don't fact check me on that. After that, we had, I think, cut, which I made this interesting piece, to say the least. It was just someone who's in a dark place cutting their hair with a blade, which is kind of cool and edgy-ish. After that, we had like wolf or beast. No, it was beast, which I made this little dog-looking thing, which is a beast. He's a beast. He's a good boy. Following that, we had sparkle, so I made this cute kitty staring into your soul with the little sparkles in their eyes, ready to steal your soul and your mind. Hooray. After that, we had like enlarged or like ginormous, so I had a person going, oh my god, it's a big old doggo, before having us switch over to the next day, which was day 30, day before the last, which was punch. I really want to stop on this one because I did a really good job doing the movement of the fist. And the movement of the fist is one of the best jobs I've done with like movement in general. Which has moving on to the final day, which was fire. And I was like, no, I'm not going to do just fire. I'm going to draw a dragon roaring through the flames, because dragons are cool, and I need to redeem myself for that last dragon. Which has us moving on out of Inktober. That was the end of it. That was all of Inktober in 10 minutes. Which was probably hours of work, but in 10 minutes. Which has us moving on to Moxtober, which I did entirely digitally. So we're just going to put this here. zoom in a bit, and boom, we're in our PC where we can, let's just pull down a curtain maybe, just to like get something here. Yeah, we're just gonna pull down this curtain a bit more, and I'm gonna start showing you Moxtober. So Moxtober was a bit different, starting with day 1 to be me doing it really fast. So day 1 was favorite Gen 9 Mon. I chose Coco because look at this silly little crocodile guy. He's so cute. And my first starter ever was Grookey because I'm a late Pokemon guy, even though I'm pretty old. Leading us into day 3, which was favorite Pokemon trainer, and I chose N because N's a really well written character with a really good plot and in his story, and I just really wanted to draw a nice piece with just N and his excellent brilliancy. I draw a cube really well. Like, look at that cube. And the lighting was really cool. Which day 4 was favorite evolution. It's Sylveon. Like Sylveon and Umbreon, but like at the same time, Sylveon is one of my favorites because it's just pretty and princessy and it's pink. It's fluttery. It's amazing. I like it. Stereotype's really fun as well. Which had me moving on to day 5, which was favorite gym leader, and I chose Raihan because I didn't really have a really like good favorite pick because I don't think about favorite gym leaders. And Raihan was just a cool guy, and I got to do dragon types and or just giant skyscrapers. But like, I drew him just taking a selfie for his channel or whatever Raihan did in the universe. Next was my favorite Scarlet 100, which was relevant to Moxie because that was his big video that came out and brought him back into this space, which was Bob the Palafin, because I really liked Palafin, but just Bob is a silly name to put on like a superhero guy, and it was really funny to see him like say it's a superhero. But I really like this piece because I used a lot of glow dodge and just colors, and just Bob is just in the like crests of the waves, crashing over everything. I really enjoyed it. Leading us into day 7, which was my favorite Pikachu clone, and I did Mimikyu. Like, I think you could technically not call him a Pikachu clone, but I think it technically is. It's not an electric type, but at the same time, it was the region's Pikachu clone, and it was just, it's Mimikyu. Mimikyu's really cool. And I just like doing like the extra magical parts, so I just had to do Shadow Claw, and this was before Unite, and I was really excited when it joined Unite. I'm gonna play it now. Which had us moving on to day 8, which was just me as a trainer. I just drew a character of mine, just like another OC with Reuniclus, because I am in America, American, and Unova is based off America. So I said I should do a Pokemon that is based off where I live, because it would make the most sense. I chose Reuniclus because he's a silly little guy, and I love him very, very much. I think you can also see here I'm using a line tool for my line art. It was on day 9, which was I couldn't pick a favorite between my mythicals because they're Celebi and Mew, and I love pink little Mew and shiny, and Celebi shiny is really good, so I just chose both of them. I have them both on my desk. They're both some of my favorite Pokemon. They're really high up there, and I just love both of their designs so much because they're so simple. Which has moved on to day 10, which was Moxicum, which is his like male version of his character in the Scarlet Violet universe. So I had him drawn with his Palmy, seen in I beat an entire Pokemon game with just Palmy, and having them both stare like a piece of really nice looking cake, just ready to munch into it all the way in. Which having us move on to day 11, which was Alolan Raichu for favorite Alolan Pokemon. I read this as Alolan variant, so I didn't actually choose like the Decidueye, which would have been my favorite overall, but I just chose favorite like Alolan version because that's how I read it as. So it's fine either way. I couldn't choose Mimikyu again. Unbeknownst to me, I did it again. I drew Mimikyu like twice this entire thing because I like them so much. But after this, it was day 12, which was my favorite Pokemon villain. I chose Giovanni because I don't really have a favorite. I probably would have chosen Genesis, I think his name is, or Pokemon Platinum's guy, because he's also a really good character, but I just wanted to draw out the OG Giovanni. And after this, I had my favorite Pokemon, my favorite type, which is Steel type, and I just drew Scissor, doing like Bullet Punch. I probably could have done a better pose for this, but I didn't really know how to pose him, so I just had him like there, doing his like in rest position with all of his fire attack stomp. That's attack with his Bullet Punch going crazy. After that was favorite legendary. It's Rayquaza. Rayquaza is a really cool Pokemon, and if you disagree with that statement, it's yeah, fair enough. It's my favorite legendary Pokemon, and I just enjoy it because also Team Sky, which has moving on to day 15, I believe. Yeah, 15, which was a favorite Nintendo character. So I drew this really derpy looking Kirby just going, sucking up all the fruits he gets around him. And after day 15, I decided for the next rest of the challenge, I would do line art with just my hand and not a line tool because I was starting to dislike how my art looked with a line tool. Which had us moving on to day 16 with the favorite Pokeball. I just chose Cherish Ball because that's a really clean design for a Pokeball. I really think they should bring it back into the games more often, or just have another version of it. But I think we move on to 17, which was my favorite Pokemon from the Platinum Art Lock, which was Lemonade. It could have been Greg, but Lemonade was such a fun character, and I just really wanted to draw this. And this was one of my favorite pieces, I think. I think my favorite is later on, but this is one of my favorites of all time because you just got to see a really fun, happy character drinking up all the lemonade. And then after this, we had Furret for favorite shiny because Furret has an immaculate shiny. It's so good, so crisp colors, so vibrant, and I really like vibrant, saturated colors. I really think like this shiny is just amazing, and I still need to hunt it in Scarlet and Violet. We had favorite Pokemon ever, which I had to draw Mimikyu. It's a silly little guy with no thoughts, just really, really happy, silly little guy. Don't look at the knife, he was just chopping his tomatoes. He was making a stew for his trainer because he loves him very, very much. And I think Mimikyu's just become one of my favorites just overall, and I really enjoy its design for being a Pikachu clone because it's just a really unique take on it. After this, we had day 20, Moxie's main protagonist in the storylines, Moxie Chan, which is just, I had this one from Scarlet Violet, and I just had like a really fun time trying out hair, because drawing hair is a pain in the butt sometimes, but if you get it right, it can look really, really, really cool. I think I could have done a better job on the body, but overall I had fun. After this was day 21, which was a type swap, so I did Metagross, because I really wanted to do him for Steel type as well, but I made him into a Fire-Water type, with like having clouds around his thing made of steam, was accumulating from within, just water boiling into steam. I think it would be like interesting to see this actually work in Pokemon. I would really like to see how it works. But after this, I had day 22, which was Lopunny. So I just drew Mega Lopunny doing a pretty sick kick. There was nothing much more to it. It was just a sick kick, and I pretty much enjoyed most of it. But following that was a really fun day because I got to remake one of my old pieces, which I'll show right here, being my old piece of fan art from Legends Arceus. And I redid it, making this masterpiece, which I'm really proud of because this is like a year of progress I have. That's a year of me drawing. Like, that's how much I've improved in a year, which is really freaking cool. I really like how I added like the just small bags under the eyes of the Hisuian Typhlosion. I had a really fun time, which another one I really am proud of is this Sarina and Electros fusion, because I picked for day 24 just to do random Pokemon generator and just randomize a fusion. And I got just this interesting idea. I'm like, what if I made Medusa? So I made Medusa and just made this really lighting based one, and I heavily enjoy this piece to this day. After that was day 25 with Super Pokemon, which is his addition to the game, where just like they get a power up, like a major story part where they just like become Super Saiyan basically. And I just made that because I don't know really how to draw Super Saiyan, so I just tried to do some funky line art with like just how the movement went. I just made the Tinkaton going bonk. We're gonna bonk you on the head. After this, we had favorite Fire Red Pokemon, which I didn't watch the Fire Red series because there isn't a video yet. So I made Nitrophyll because there is something in the Mox series lore with like Nitro Pokemon. So I just took Discord Nitro's colors and just powered him up with a Fire Blazing Punch. And then one of my favorites was this piece, the Hisuian. Actually, no, it was one of Moxie's original Pokemon with like the Ghost Limb. I'm gonna have to find the name of it, but I really liked making this because it was like a Hisuian Zoroark piece basically, and I just made a feral piece, and it looks really freaking cool. Like, I'm really proud of this because I did the lighting on the spot and just immaculate. which after this was when I started running out of time, because day 28 I started working on the next project you'll see on this channel, trying to finish it before Halloween so I could use it, but I didn't. So I did just Mega Gengar, because this thing has a great shiny and really does justice to the terrible shiny that Gengar has, and should have had a white shiny, because the white shinies are really nice when you have a black Pokemon beforehand. It's just a really nice contrast. After that, I was favorite anime character. I just like these two guys from Skate, because they're just fun characters in general, and I didn't really know what to pick for favorite otherwise, so I just said, you know what, pick two Skate characters and just draw them, because I need all the time I can for this project I was working on, which was on a day 30, the second to last day of Moxtober. And the prompt for this one was just draw Moxie. So I did another drawing of Moxie, because I've definitely done more than one drawing of Moxie. So I just did him with all the starters he's had. We got Greg the Totodile, Charlie, Jade, Phil, and just his Charmander he names Chad. I didn't add George here because he's from the past. I probably could have drawn him like looking over all of them in like a spirit form, or some wisps of spirit energy, but I didn't really have the time to do so, which was on a day 31, which was Cynthia. And I had a fun time with this one because Cynthia is a really good boss for an ending of Pokemon. I really think this is a great way to finish it off. I just made like the Gengar looking from the shadows onto her, snapping her fingers, waiting for the next challenger, which concludes the end of all the art in Moxtober and Inktober. So I hope you enjoyed this video, but I'll see you guys in like 2-ish weeks, because I need to finish the next project. So without all this is said and done, thank you for watching to the end, and I will see you guys later. Bye!